The second album was when I thought I really became a songwriter. Confidence is a big thing when you're a creative person. We'd had hits, I'd had some hit records, I wanted more. Everyone was talking about this next record, so after we'd toured and everyone sort of went on, had a month off and went on holiday, there was one thing on my mind, and that was to go back home to the studio and write an unbelievable second album. And it's been a long time since I've listened to our records, but our second album was really good, I thought. Pray was the first single from the new record, and I think it was at that very point where people started to take me seriously as a songwriter. I won an Ivor Novello Award for that song, and at that point people were starting to ask in interviews, so what's the process, what's the songwriter? I'd never been asked that before. It was never part of the interview, and that felt great. I thought we all got on incredibly well. For five guys with egos, we all had egos, travelling round, living in each other's pockets 24 hours a day all week, I think we got away with it quite well. I think that was the one comment people always, even now, say to me, "Can't believe how well you guys used to get on." You know, you'd go past your dressing room and you could hear the laughter coming from there. We'd be laughing, you know. I remember lots of those times, you know. I don't ever remember sitting in a hotel room on my own. I'd remember it that we'd be in someone's hotel room, all sat talking, having a drink. I think we did well. I think we did all right for that. I think as I was closer to to some band members than others, would have different conversations with different people, but in general, never rubbed with anybody. When I joined the band, I never used to drink, I never used to smoke. I was really boring with all that. I mean, not even a little drink, I just wasn't interested in it. So I discovered during the band drink, actually. So when we went out, I used to really get drunk, really drunk. And it used to tickle everyone when I got drunk, it really did. So that's what I graduated to, joining the band. And I'll never forget, by the end of by our last European tour we did, that we were all so bored on the road. It's just, you know, doing the same every day, especially interviews. I mean, good God, it's painful. It's painful. You're hanging around dressing rooms for hours and hours, and we all smoked by the end, all of us, everybody. So we'd pull up at a TV studio, and the van doors would be open, and there'd be these plumes of smoke, just like Top of the Pops coming out of this van, just poof. You know, the lid would come off this ashtray, and this smoke would just rise, and we were terrible. I mean, I left. That's one thing. I left the band a chain smoker. I feel often very guilty for not noticing a lot of the things I'm now told Robbie went through. I mean, Jason talks about things a lot when I see him about. He'll tell you in his interview of he noticed things about Robbie. I seem to miss a lot of those things. I never noticed him drinking. He always used to smoke. I always used to bum fags off him and stuff, and he always used to smoke. I don't remember the drink. I remember the drugs starting. I don't remember the drink. I think the biggest problem with Robbie, Gary, is that we were both trying to do the same thing. We both wanted solo careers. Now when you get that, you get the press and the whole media wanting a competition. There's nothing more exciting than a duel. There just isn't. Goes back in history, that does. Everybody loves a fight out. And I think that at that point, I mean, I know for certain I was probably at my worst point personally. I was on a massive confidence, the biggest my ego's ever been. And I reckon Robbie was probably in a similar place, coming out of the band. I mean, you just think the world owes you everything. When you've been at that height, you just think everything you touch, everything that moves, turns to triple platinum. You know, it's that mind. Great mind for an artist, that is. We decided to go on as a four-piece because, one, we had to. We had a huge tour. We not only had a tour in England ahead, I remember we had an Australian tour, we had a Southeast Asian tour to do afterwards. So for that reason alone, we had to go on. We could have lost, I mean, a lot of money if we'd had the stages made. We were deep in investment basically in these shows. We had to do them. So we decided between us, right, come on, knuckle down, let's go and do them on our own, you know. If anyone wants their money back, because Robbie's not in the band, we'll give it them back and we'll resell the tickets, no problem, but let's deliver, let's go and do that. And we did that up until that Christmas. We just worked and worked and worked. We went to America, we did some promotion there as a four-piece. I mean, we kept at it. Nothing stopped for us. And then we all went on holiday at Christmas, and that's when the band ended. If we hadn't have had that break, I think we'd have happily gone on for another year probably. But everyone had that break, we all went away and had that time to think, and you know, it's not what it used to be. There used to be 5, now there's 4. It's not take that anymore. And it wasn't. And at that point it seemed like a good time to do a greatest hits and go our separate ways. It was always my plan to be behind the scenes, I guess, writing, producing, making records and letting someone else go through all the stuff we've talked about today. And it's the next step, I think. It's the obvious next step. You know, if you're a footballer, you become a coach or a manager or whatever. And I feel like it was a next step for me to go into production, to go into songwriting and make records for other people, help and teach and guide other artists for all those things that I've been lucky enough to learn. Try and help them not make those mistakes, or you know, I guess give a bit back as well, help in ways that I guess some other producers couldn't. I think that we touched a lot of people, and it wasn't a generational thing either. I think it was multi-generations actually we touched. Okay, it started off with young girls, but you know, as it does with families, you know, the parents end up listening to what the kids listening to, and so on. And I mean, our gigs by the end, our live shows, and we were always renowned for our live shows being unbelievable events. You would see a massive cross section, and I guess if you asked someone in the street, they would say nice songs, great bunch of lads, and we all thoroughly enjoyed it when they were together. It was fun. It was fun because there's 5 of you. It's a laugh. It's dreams coming true. It's what we wanted. It wasn't serious. None of us took it seriously. It was just great. And at that point, you know, we were all feeling like we were playing a part in it. We weren't being led. Um, and it was like, this is why we've done this, and this is what we're getting because of it.